Hi, I'm Jamie at Horizon Productions, and today I'm going to talk to you about a song I recently worked on with YagmanX called We Feel It Too. This is a song she wrote during the lockdown in the UK. I'll play the song through and then talk a bit about the process.
Inside your home is no longer a place of rest, and I know you try your best to do what's right. It might be tough, but I'm impressed. Just know we feel it too, just like we live with you. I know that you are scared. We weren't prepared for what is coming, what might. When I hear you through the phone, a perfect tone I took for granted in the past. Motivation fading fast, like the Devon window glass, but it won't last. Just know we feel it too. Sometimes we just pass through. Open the window, put down your phone, and listen to the sound of a world so quiet now. So quiet now. Just know I feel it too, just like I'm there with you.
You want food? What would you like? A plum? We don't have any plums at the moment.
The session is fairly straightforward, with only lead vocals, backing vocals and guitar, all of which was recorded by Yasmin at home. Usually for songs we work on remotely, she just does the vocals, but this time she wanted to do all the tracking from home, as it fits in with the narrative of being isolated and alone. The only other thing in the session is an ambience that was recorded by Yasmin. This again is meant to enhance the narrative. I'll play a few parts that I think are interesting. So the ambience is structured in a particular way. There's a few tracks here. This windy park, Good Boy, Birds and Distant Talk, and Distant Children and Plum Boy. These are all different tracks that Yasmin recorded. And I'll just play through an overview of what's happening. And this plays under the guitar as it fades in. Then there's a transition here between the first part and the second. And this goes into a filtered version of the park. All that's happening there is I'm just filtering out the top end, so it sits kind of below everything else. Then there's another transition to this. This happens on the line, open the window. It sounds like opening a window, essentially. And then this transitions back into the original. And lastly, transitions into this file.
You want food? What would you like? A plum? We don't have any plums at the moment.
The only other processing is there's a bus here, and this I'm filtering out a bit of the bottom end to get rid of some of the wind rumble and things like that, and removing some of the top end as well, so it didn't get too much in the way of the instruments. I'll just show without and then with. Let's go back a bit. So it's getting rid of quite a lot of the top end because I didn't want that to get in the way of the vocals and the guitar. Next, let's have a look at the instruments and some of the processing. We'll start with the guitar. Just the loop. I'll just bypass everything. The first thing I'm using on everything is noise reduction. Because it's recorded in her room, there was computer noise, ambient noise, hiss from the preamps. This all will, over many tracks playing together, this noise will add up. So just doing a bit of reduction on each track can just lower that noise a little bit. I'll just play a before and after on the guitar. Probably quite a subtle thing on the guitar. Next, I'm doing a little bit of dynamic EQ. There was a bit of a node here that was jumping up and down. So I'll do a before and after. And as you see, it's around here. It's just kind of tucking it away as it comes in. Then an EQ. This is an EQ I use a lot. Shep 73. It's a 1073 emulation. And this I'm just using to make the track sound a little bit better. Bit of top end. Taking out 700. This is a common frequency in this that didn't sound very nice. Bit boxy. And bit of low end boost. 80 Hz high pass. And then a bit of saturation, bit of EQ, and a bit of compression. Here, I'm just pulling out a bit here. That was poking out a little too much. The compression is just sort of catching peaks, mainly. Quite a fast release. A fairly fast attack. 4:1 ratio. As you see, it's only just lighting up a little bit, so it's just catching peaks. Then reverb on the guitar. This is just the stock Cubase reverb. It's a small room. And that just adds a little bit of width. Just a bit of EQ on that reverb. That sort of thing that, again, a little boxy frequency that I didn't like. Let's take a look at the lead vocal. I'm not going to show this every time because it's just noise reduction, but I will show it on this because it's a little more obvious, I think, on a vocal.
And I know you try your best to do what's right. It might be tough, but I'm impressed.
Then EQ again.
And I know you try your best to do what's right. It might be tough, but
Then Shep's omnichannel again. Compression and EQ.
and I know you try your best to do what's right. It might be tough.
Just pulling out this frequency,
And I know you try
which
your
I didn't think sounded very good. And then a bit of compression. Compressor's doing basically level control here. I'll just mouse over these so you can see what it's doing.
And I know you try your best to do what's right. It might be tough, but I'm impressed.
Just a little level control. When it gets loud, obviously there's more compression, but generally it's a couple decibels. Then another compressor. This I really like on vocals. The Klanghelm MJUC. Slow attack and medium-ish release, I guess. Fast to medium release.
And I know you try your best to do what's right. It might be tough, but I'm impressed.
And then finally, vocal rider. This just evens out the performance a little bit.
And I know you try your best to do what's right. It might be tough,
And this is all going to the same reverb, the small room.
And
I'll play this before and after.
And I know you try your best to do what's right. It might be tough, but
Adding a little width there. Next, let's have a look at the backing vocals. Look at this part first. This runs through the track. Both of the parts play here. I'll just show you the individual parts here. They're in octaves. It's a humming part, basically. And I'll just solo this. That's one part. And then the other part. Together. And this is, again, noise reduction, bit of EQ, and I'll do that first, actually. I'll bypass the effects as well. And then bit of saturation, bit of EQ, again pulling out a frequency in the low mids towards the low end, and then compression. I'll bring these in one by one. So all of this is bringing out the breathiness of that vocal and cleaning it up a little bit. Then this is going through a reverb, which also has a bit of delay on the front end here. Just adds a sort of ethereal quality around the vocal. Next, we'll have a look at the harmony vocals in the middle section. Just grab this bit. And this has a few parts to it, and I'll go through them individually.
and listen to the sound. And listen to the sound. Listen to the sound.
This is all going through this. Again, noise reduction on everything. Bit of EQ. I'll just bypass the effects as well. Let's turn all this off. So I'll play them before and after. First, EQ.
Listen to the sound.
EQ and saturation.
Listen to the sound.
Then that's going through this compressor again.
Listen to the sound. Listen to the sound.
This is only doing a little bit of compression, nothing major. And then the reverb. This reverb is actually different, called Phoenix Verb.
Listen to the sound.
And I just pulled up a little bit of the sort of low end, I guess.
Listen to the sound.
And then lastly, there's the bits between the vocal, which we played around with these a lot. They might sound a bit weird in isolation, but let's have a listen to them. There's two parts here. Play them together.
Our world's so quiet now.
These are octave parts.
Our world's so quiet now. Our world's so quiet now.
And same again. Just turn this off and bypass the reverb.
Our world's so quiet now. 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 World's so quiet now.
That's the frequency I'm pulling out.
Our world's so quiet now.
Same sort of settings for the compression again. And then this again.
Our world's so quiet now. Our world's so quiet now.
Going into the reverb.
Our world's so quiet now.
And then the other part. This one's just got an EQ on it.
Our world's so quiet now.
Reverb.
Our world's so quiet now.
And that's that. I think that's everything except for the bus processing. I'll just quickly go through that. This has an EQ. This is a Pultec emulation. I'm boosting a little bit of the low end, around 100, and also using some of the attenuation. And then boosting some of the top end around 8K and attenuating a little bit as well. I'll find a section. Yeah, let's just do this bit.
Open the window, put down your phone.
And then a bit of compression. This is a Fairchild emulation.
Open the window, put down your
And this is just helping the tracks to kind of glue each other together. And that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below, and I hope you found this interesting.